Alright, hello again. This is Jeff Scott, your instructor for the online version of 152-163 Relational Database Design for the Fall 2015 semester at Black Hawk Technical College. I've just finished the lecture portion of Chapter 1 and I'm going to go into the lab portion now. Now, a couple things as we get going here, just so you have hopefully an idea of what's going on here. First of all, I went and copied all of that information that I had in the employees table and in the departments table. Okay, I went and copied all that stuff so you can see it right here. Okay, and I'm going to basically get into, in just a couple minutes, I'm going to get into Microsoft Access and replicate this. Now, again, what I'm going to show you is maybe not the same way they're showing it in the book, but I'm showing you typically the way that I think is the easiest way to do things. Alright, so if you go to your Start menu, and under your Start menu, if you go to All Programs, and you arrow down and you look in the folders here, you'll find one that says Microsoft Office 2013. Now, you can always do this, and then click here, and then click Access to start it. Or you can right mouse click on Access, drag it out to your desktop. I'm right mouse clicking now, and choose Create Shortcuts here. I'd suggest you do that. You don't have to do it, but I'd suggest you do it. And or you can click Start, go to All Programs, go to Microsoft Office, right mouse click on it, and choose Pin to either the taskbar or the Start menu, or both. Alright, so now I pin that to my Start menu so it's up here, and I pinned it to my taskbar so it's down here. So either way. Alright, so I'm just going to double click right here on the shortcut that I put on the desktop. And when I do, Microsoft Access 2013 starts up. Now you'll notice yours probably won't look exactly like this because well, it should look at least similar. How's that? Since we're just starting brand new, what I'm going to do, it says I've got test already there on the desktop. I don't want to do that. I want to choose blank desktop database. So I'm going to click right there. And it says, what do you want for a name of your database? Okay. Well, I want it to be called employees. Now I'm going to have a problem right now if I go and click create, because I'm at home, and it probably would let me save it to the H drive, but I don't want to do that. I want to save it right to the desktop. So I'm going to click the browse button here, and I'm going to choose desktop. Alright, and click OK, and you notice how it changes. And it calls it employees.accdb, ACC for access, DB for database. So if I click create now, and I'm just going to minimize this for a second, but notice I now have, I now have a file. If I go here out to my desktop, so minimize that, there we go. There's employees, there's the file that I just created. I shouldn't even say that's the file, that's the database that I just created. Alright, so what do I want to do? Well, I want to create two tables, one called departments and one called employees. I'm going to create the departments first. So right now it just says on here table 1. I don't like that name, but I'll change it in just a minute. Alright, I don't like the name ID. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to go into design view. And it says, oh, well, what do you want to call this table? I'm going to make you save it as with a name before I allow you to go from datasheet view, which is what we're in right now, to design view. So I'm going to call this departments. Alright, now it shows me what I have. Well, I don't want to call my first one in here ID. I want to call it department number. Department number. And I want to make it in number field. Actually, I want to, I want it to be an auto number field. And if you want, you can put over here, this is an optional description that you can put in that describes it. Now, I'm just going to put in here department number. And you'll notice when I named that over here, I ran both words together. You should do that. The book tells you that you can use blank spaces, and yes, you can, but it's not really considered a good practice to do that. All right, so I've got department number there, and here I'm going to put department name. Now I don't want that to be an auto number field. I want that to be a short text field. You'll notice down here, this is our properties area. It says, oh, well, it's a maximum of 255 characters. I could change that if I want to, but that's fine the way it is. So I'm going to keep it as short text, and this over here I'm going to type in department name. All right, that's it for creating what's called the schema, S-C-H-E-M-A. That's the schema of my table. And you'll also notice that immediately the system put this little key right here, which meant that this is a primary key. If I didn't want that, I could right mouse click on it and click, and it'll remove it. If I want to add it again, I can click on the little key, but I do want that to be there. All right, so now I want to change back into datasheet view. I must first save the table. Sure, I'll save it. And now I want to come in here, and I don't even have to put where it says right here, it's got department number. I don't even have to go in and put that in. I can just tab over, and I can type in IT. And notice I put a 1 in there for me. Go to number 2. I think that was payroll. And accounting. Make sure that I did that correctly. I think that was 1, 2, and 3. IT, payroll, and accounting. Okay, so that's the whole table. That's everything. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to save by clicking my little disk icon that's right there. All right, and now I can right mouse click on here and choose close. And I have my first table. I've created the departments table. So I'm going to go over to create, and I'm going to say I want to create another table, and it automatically brings you up in this datasheet view. I like to create my tables in design view, so I'm going to right mouse click and choose design view, and immediately again it makes me save the table. So I'm going to save this one as employees. Alright, I already have departments, and that's table 1 now, but notice as soon as I type in employees and click OK, that changes to employees. The first field I want to be an ID, an auto number, and that'll be the employee ID. Alright, then I want first name. Oops. This stuff is case insensitive, but the way I'm showing it to you is the way it's normally done. Short text, and it'll be, how about this, employee first name. Alright, last name, short text, employee last name. And finally, department number. Okay. That's not an auto number field anymore. It's a number field that has 0 decimal places in it. All right, and that will be employee department number. Boom. Now I've got all of that information. Now I can right mouse click, choose datasheet view. I got to save it. Boom, I've saved it. Now it'll put all the information in there for me. All right, so I want to put in all of the stuff that you see right here. So Ronald White 1. Ronald White 1. Notice again, it puts the ID number in for me automatically. Jane Smith 2. Kenneth Jones 3. Mark Martin 2. Mary Johnson 1. Carl Green 1. Julie Jones 2. Jeffrey Scott 1. Sandy Keller was 1, and Mackenzie Morris is 2. And then finally our last two are Taylor Tynes and Tynes, that's kind of a weird name. Taylor Thomas. That's a little better. Taylor Thomas 3 and Chloe Green 2. So that's how we put information into tables. That's what I wanted to show you. All right? And just to show you how easy it is now to work with this stuff, I'm going to save this and I'm going to close it. Let's suppose that my boss comes up to me and needs a list of every employee and the department they work for. All right, they want the department name. Well, notice here, I can give them the department name but not the employees. And here, I can give them the name but not the department number. I'm sorry, not the department name. So I have to combine the information from the two tables. And I just want to show you now how easy that is to do. Sure. All right, so what I do is I click Create, and I go to Query Wizard, Simple Query Wizard, OK. And from the Employees table, I want the first name. Whoops, I don't want all that. I want the first name and I want the last name. Then I want to go over to the Departments table and I want the department name. And it says, you got a problem now. These aren't related to one another because the system doesn't understand yet that the two are related, even though they are. So I've got to tell them that they're related to one another. So I go over here to Database Tools and I say, hey, I've got to develop a relationship between departments and employees. And if you notice, there's a department number here and a department number there. One's got a primary key, so that's called the parent of this one. So I'm going to literally click with my left mouse and drag. So department number is on department number. We'll get into all this stuff in later classes. I'll just click Enforce Referential Integrity and Create. Now it shows that there's a relationship between these. All right, and I want to save that. So now I can close it. Now notice if I come in and do that same Create, Query Wizard, OK, and I grab the first name and I grab the last name, and then I go to the other table and I say, give me the department name, and I go to Next, I don't get an error anymore. All right, call this employee query, finish, and there we have it. Every employee, their first name, their last name, all right, and you notice they're even done by type here. But the names aren't done by type. So all this stuff I'm showing you, we're going to learn in later chapters, and we'll talk about again and again. But right now we're in what's called datasheet view. If I come over here, I can also go into what's called SQL view. And that's the stuff that's happening behind the scenes to make this stuff magically work. So if I come to the end here and I go order by, and I'm going to say department name, comma, employees dot last name, comma, employees dot first name. And this might seem really hard. Don't let what I'm doing right there throw you. All right, I'm going to save that and I'm going to run it again. And now notice I've got all the accounting people, then the IT, then the payroll. And the accounting people are in alphabetic order based on last name. Then the IT people are in alphabetic order based on last name. Then the payroll people are in order based on last name. And if two people had the same last name, then it would go to their first name. So I did this. This is kind of like a prelude. So now this is probably one of the few times I'm going to do this, but I'm going to stop right now, stop the lecture, and then when I start, I'm going to come back into the book and literally do everything that I can get done in an hour or so for Chapter 1 from your textbook.